right, welcome to the August meeting for the Board of Trustees for the Liberty Lake Municipal Library. I'll take a roll, even though I know everyone is here except for Bob. Bob is excused. He is officially resigned from the Board of Trustees and is busily working to relocate to a new adventure. So we'll miss Bob, but we sure do appreciate all that he has contributed to Board of Trustees and the Friends of the Library.
We're sad for us, but happy for him.
Very, very much so sad for us, but also very much so what he had to have. All right, so Shauna, you're here, correct?
Yep.
Lisa, you're here. Yes. Teresa.
She's on mute.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, Kim is here. And I'm here and Jandy
Yes, here.
is here. Okay, so the next item on our list is to approve both the minutes and the agenda. Let's approve the minutes from our last meeting. If there are any corrections, please suggest those now. If not, could I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for July? June, pardon me, yeah, June, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Oh, I mean.
Removed. Oh, go ahead, Kim. Second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, now we're on to the agenda. Does anyone have any additions, corrections, deletions for our agenda for today? If not, could I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so all is good to go on those. All right, Jandy, do we have anybody online? It's time for asking for citizen comments. So we'll take citizen comments. Jandy will explain the procedure and then we'll open it up for the citizen comments.
If you'd like to make a citizen comment, please raise your hand and then state if, your name and if you're a resident of Liberty Lake. We'll also have an opportunity for comments at the end of the meeting. I don't have anyone online and we don't have anyone in chamber.
Thank you, Jen. All right. So we'll move on to reports.
Can we start with Shauna since Mark's not back yet?
Yeah, we'll start with Shauna. Shauna, are you there? Do you have a report for us from the City Council?
I'm here. I have not been able to catch up on the city council meetings that I wasn't able to attend. So I don't have anything to report from those yet. If anybody else was there and has any pertinent information.
I can share a few things just
Okay,
because,
thank you.
and I'll get into this a little bit later in our meeting. But I presented to the council an update on where we are with the library design project. I'll be giving you guys the same update later in the meeting, but the update went well. So, and we're planning, we'll need to, I don't think this is on the agenda. We will need to discuss our September update at the meeting today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
With Mark, we're waiting for his return. But I'll give a brief update and maybe Kim, you can help. But I'll give a brief update on the Friends of the Library. They conducted their annual soiree, which was a smashing success. Thanks to all the friends, members and membership for everything they do to contribute to the success of that event. A sold out event, uh, great music, great food, great camaraderie. It was just a really nice event. So they put on good show and a good event for our city. Now they're busy in recovery mode for a little bit as they gear up for their next, I guess, I won't call it an event, the fundraiser, the book sale that'll be held in November. So again, a big thank you to the Friends of the Library for all they do. It was a very successful event. Okay.
I was at that event too, and I was really pleasantly surprised at what a large cross-section of the community was there too. It wasn't just sort of like one demographic. It was, there were, everybody was 21 and over, but other than that, it wasn't like it was just one group within the community. It seems to reach a large part of the community.
Yeah, thank you, Shauna. That is my same observation. Young, middle-aged, older, all there enjoying the evening. It was great.
Yeah, it's touching to see how many people that are at those events that aren't, there are those faces of people that I see in the library, each week, each month, but there was a lot of people there that I had never seen before. I think it's really bringing the community together.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Jandy, Mark is here, so we won't even give him a chance to get situated. We'll just put him on the stand right away. But he's getting himself situated. Mark, as soon as you're ready to go, we're ready for any comments you might have.
Can you hear me? Okay, it's on. So I don't wanna certainly take any of the thunder from Jandy's update or from Kim's update regarding the library project. In addition to that, just to remind the Board of Trustees that we've got a couple of things coming up and ongoing that are related to various pieces of engagement. One of those is September the 10th. We're going to have the transparency in local government town. That's going to be over at Trailhead. And we're going to invite several boards and commissions to have tables there because the first hour of this is going to be a open house style meet and greet. So we want people to come in and kind of ask questions of various board members about things that are going on. Just kind of a low-key open house style. And so we'll figure out who that's going to be from the board, but that's one item. And then the other item is that we've got a variety of different engagements ongoing right now. One of them is the library survey, which I'm sure Jandy mentioned, and then the other one is the 2025 budget engagement, and that has got a whole spectrum of questions designed to kind of elicit among the community members on various topics that we learned were important through the community satisfaction survey. So these are not necessarily library specific things, but they are budget related things. And so as board members, if you're talking with members of the community about library projects, we would certainly appreciate you suggesting that they go to the city's engagement page because the library survey is there, as is the 2025 budget forum, which they can equally participate in. We love their feedback. We want as much feedback as we can get. I think that's all I've got in terms of updates.
Okay. I have a question about the budget survey. That got off to a rough start. How's that going?
So I'm not sure. So we got some bad PR. But in terms of what the budget engagement, this phase of the budget engagement is designed to do, it's essentially designed to open a question up for the community, individual community members to dialogue. So for example, this week's question, we're on every successive Tuesday, we're prompting a new question. And so this Tuesday's question had to do with traffic management. Because we got a lot of feedback in the community satisfaction survey about traffic management, a variety of different things, speed control, safety at intersections, and different things like that. And so the question that was posed, today's Wednesday, so yesterday, was talk to us about what areas of town you want to prioritize some, say, traffic safety improvements or something like that. And it's really designed to get done. And so that's the style of the engagement that is available now with respect to the budget. There will be others in the future as we meet or reach certain milestones on the development count. But right now, that's the main area of focus in our budget engagement.
So, yeah, the question I really have is, I think that's like, and I've seen those come across, I end up to get those, those notifications from the city. But I guess what I'm curious about is how many people are you able to tell, how many people are taking advantage of those opportunities to weigh in on those kinds of things? That's kind of what I'm really curious.
Yeah, and yes, we can count the number of calls. And so to your point, thus far, it's been fairly minimal. Which is why we're asking board and commission members kind of as they interact with their various spheres, to mention it and to promote it. But yes, so for example, the previous week's prompt question, which was related to taxes, which was a very popular piece of feedback on the survey. Thus far, and now it's been a week out there, we've gotten 0 comments. And so if that gives you any indication, right,
That's interesting.
it's hit or miss.
So if people sign up, can they go back these questions?
Oh, yeah, you can answer any question that's been made.
Okay.
Do Shauna or Teresa, do you have any questions, comments for Mark?
And for me,
Okay, which one? Shauna first?
no, I don't have any.
Okay, Teresa?
No, I don't.
Okay. Got it. Okay, we're moving on then. Jandy, you're on.
Okay, so I am going to keep my update about other stuff besides the survey and stuff, because we'll talk about that a little bit later. The summer, things have been going really well at the library. We've been very busy.
There's somebody kind of,
I don't know, I kind of heard an echo there for a second.
Yeah.
okay.
Weird. So things have been going really well at the library. We've been very, very busy this summer. I'm excited to see all the staff numbers for, how it's translated through the door. We've been doing monthly Teen Tuesday activities, and we've actually been having teens show up for them. So Michaela is looking at extending our Teen Tuesdays into the fall and doing stuff, after school on Tuesdays at the library. Summer reading attendance has been huge as far as participants. We've had a lot more adult participants than we've had in past years, which has been fun. Kids and teens are similar to what they've been in past years. Story time has been really huge. We've been doing Wednesday story times at the park at Rocky Hill. We've been averaging probably like 70 to 80 people at those, so really big. We had this past month in July our Touch a Truck, and we also had our foam party at the park. Touch a Truck was really well attended. It was on a Friday morning from 10 to 1. We had about 2,000 people there for the event at Orchard Park, so that went swimmingly. And then, yes, that's what our average attendance has been probably the past 3 times we've done it. So 2024, 2022, and 2019. Yeah, because we took off a couple years for COVID.
With Touch a Truck, the funds that pay for most of that, is that coming from Prince's budget, or how's that work?
It's pretty much quote unquote free events. The people who obviously, you know, the garbage man, the fireman, like all of that is free. The thing that we're paying for is staff time.
Right.
Obviously, so all the crew that's staffing the event, you know, me planning the event. The only thing that had a cost for us was the otter pops, the water, and the ice that we do for our little refueling station, and that we have got sponsors for. So this year it was Children's Choice Dentistry here in town and Numerica Bank, who's also moving to town. Those were our two sponsors. So they gave, you know, gift cards that funded that. We do have 2 food trucks at the event, but it's, you know, self-pay. So we had a snow cone and an ice cream truck both. So it's not a high cost event.
Right.
And then, you know, we had some inflatable toys for the kids to play on, and those are stuff that the city owns for Barefoot. It's a huge event and it brings a huge crowd, but it doesn't cost us very much to put on. Yeah. The best part for me was 2 years ago in 2022, I tried to get the sheriff's office to bring out a helicopter for the events, and it didn't work out. This year, we start the event at 10 a.m. At 10:05, a sheriff's car rolls up to the parking lot. And we go over there and like, oh, hi, like, are you here for the event? Like, did you want to park your car? And he's like, no, I'm letting you know that the helicopter's coming. It should be here in about 5 minutes. Where do you want it to land? So I don't know if Darren made a call or if Chief Simmons made a call, but they showed up and it was so cool because all of these families and kids are there. And then this helicopter just flies up and it starts circling and all the kids are getting so excited. Talk about a grand entrance. Because all the kids, it was so fun. They got to watch the helicopter land in the field. So they gave me a phone number that I can call for them to come back next time. That was awesome. That was my favorite part. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm like, I could not have planned that better myself. That was perfect.
So both you and Michaela, take on the role of getting the different trucks and all those things in there?
So it was me, and then, over here at City Hall, Derek, who's our park supervisor, and Mikkel, who is the new Parks and Recs person. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the end of his title. We were the 3 main planners for the event. And then day of the event, we had Johnny from Parks who was telling all the trucks where to park and that sort of thing. It's definitely a huge group effort on the event. But it's definitely a co-partnership with the city,
Yeah.
more so than amongst my staff. So that went really well. We also did our foam party in the park. I rented a foam machine from Foamalition. The Johnny from the Parks Department or Parks crew saved my butt. The foam machine had to be, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I obviously didn't watch the right YouTube videos because our foam machine needed to be up in the air. Because obviously it needs the suction to like get all the foam moving. And so the day before I had asked Johnny to come with me and we were gonna try it out. And we're, you know, testing and all this stuff. And he's like, he's looking at the instructions. He's like, this needs to be in a tree or on a ladder or something. And I'm like, I have no idea. So he and another parks guy the next day rigged it up into the tree. So that it could be up where it needed to be and have the right suction and I don't know. Physics was not my strong suit. So he saved the day on that event. And then he stayed throughout the whole event with me because we had to babysit. We had this 55 gallon drum, large trash can full of the bubble solution. And it was something where like every 10 minutes we had to keep filling it up with the water in the solution. So it turned out really good. It was one of those things where if we were to do it again, like we have a whole list of things we would change and do differently. But it was also one of those things that was like definitely a group effort and needed more than me just like watching a YouTube video.
Well,
But the kids had a blast playing in the bubble foam. So the main things I wanted to mention to you guys today, is about the budget for next year. So all of the directors are in the midst of planning our budgets for next year. I wanted to let you guys know some changes that I'm looking at making for next year. The main one would have to do with our software and databases section. Looking at the stats the last few years, the databases that we currently have are not being used. And so me and Michaela are looking at doing like a total overhaul of the databases. So we have some databases, you know, that the state library pays for that are your traditional collegiate databases for people to do like academic research in. And those, I'm saying collegiate, but it's literally from like little kids all the way up to your main like academic databases. We have those through the state. They're not very expensive. We're not going to touch anything with that. These are the ones we're looking at are the ones that like we pay for, that we are kind of, you know, supplementing, and are things that we think our patrons would want to use. So the one we have right now is for test prep, for like all of your kind of trades testing, and they are zero usage the entire year. Like they're not getting used. So we're looking at purchasing a language database, like Mango Languages. The other one I'm looking at is Pronunciator. And just this is something that obviously would go into effect in January, and trying to really hit hard with like, want to learn a new language this year as part of your New Year's resolutions and that sort of thing, and seeing if we can get some usage out of something like that. We're also going to look at Duolingo, because I know that's an app that a lot of people use, and see if they do have a library subscription to where, you know, patrons can use that for free through the library. So we're looking at a language database, and the other thing we're looking at is a streaming database. The two we're looking at would be Canopy streaming or Hoopla. That's something that I know most everyone uses as streaming, and maybe if it's not something you can afford, this is something you could access, or maybe just, you know, your family has Hulu, you can supplement with Canopy or. So that's the other one that we're looking at for next year, to see if we can get some good usage.
So if you have a streaming database, would they have to be on the premises to use it?
No, so they would be able to log in with their library, and then they would be able to use it. So they would not have to be on the premises.
You know, what kind of databases, surrounding libraries have that they have found their constituents use quite a bit?
I do know that the county has Hoopla. I'd have to see what the city's library has, but that is a good idea to ask them what stuff that you have is getting used. That's a really good question. So I might actually send that out to my director's listserv. Goes to all the other directors in the state, and just see, is there something that you're using that you're getting really good usage on? So that's something that we're looking at for next year, is just trying to clean sweep. Let's try all new stuff and just see what's getting used. Oh, the last one was a kid subscription to ABC Mouse. So that's something that I know that, you know, families will pay for, and it's, you know, for early learner, preschool, kindergarten. I don't know if it's a couple of grades up also, but just having some kind of kids learning website that they could log in with their library card and use. So that's the third one that we're looking at getting as well.
Do we know, is ABC Mouse something that they get access to at school, and we're trying to supplement with also library access, or is this for early learners, like prior to kindergarten?
So I can jump in. ABC Mouse is primarily preschool.
Okay.
Once they get to school age, they're using things like IXL and other programs that are specific to K through 12.
Okay, so this would be for preschool early learning levels. Okay, yeah. As you can see, I've set up a bunch of demos this week and next week with people. So I'm telling you, without actually having seen any of the demos yet. So we're just trying to get our money used on something that people actually want. But I love your suggestion of seeing from other directors what people are actually using in their area. So that's a really good idea. The other thing that we're hoping to get funding for next year is new self-check. Ours are very old, and so we think that's something that we can improve upon. Ours just literally check books out. It's not very pretty. It's just something that we've scrounged together with CIN. So we're wanting to get something that's a little bit more user-friendly and that patrons can see from like looking at the screen, okay, this is what this is for. These are the buttons I can push. Ours is kind of like, you just have to assume that they scan their library card and then they can just check out books. So something that's, I guess, a little bit more visually pleasing. Has the kind of touchscreen components so they can understand what they're supposed to do. I mean, most people assume and can figure it out. But the nice thing is we have a relationship with Envisionware. They do all of our mobile printing and our public computer software. And then they also do our cash register software. They'll ship you the self-check units and then you can try them out on site at your library for a month and see if you like them and if your patrons like them and you know the pros and cons of everything before you purchase. So we've set up a, they're gonna be sending us units in October so we can try them out and see how they. And then that's something also that we can take to the new library. That's the other thing that we're looking at for next year. As far as like drastically new, different ends. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. I think that's everything I have for now.
You guys have any questions for Jandy? All right, you're still on though, Jandy, because everything is in your lap now anyway. That's the way. So, under business, we will ask Jandy or Kim, or both of them, weigh in on the library project update.
Hold on, let me pull up my slide really quick and then we'll get going.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what I see on the screen. So I'm gonna start with the timeline. That's over here so you guys can see. Can everyone see okay? So this is our timeline that we're looking at for our programming phase of the project.
One second, can Shauna and Teresa pull this up?
I can see.
Yeah.
So right now we are in the initial design phase. So we have BRCA, which is a local architecture company. They are helping us develop a budget for the project. So we are working on that part of the project right now. They're helping us look at some different layouts and everything, and then trying to just develop what our budget is gonna be. Basically, we'll be taking some options to city council, showing them what the new library could look like. And then so that they have something to look at as they're trying to develop the budget. And it's not just like, let's throw a number out there and not know if that number can do what we want. So we're trying to give them kind of some layouts of what everything could look like and that sort of thing. And then they will be able to select the budget. During August, we're also doing a lot of community input. We're doing a lot of surveys and that sort of thing, trying to get public input on what our patrons would want in a new library. Basically in September, we have 2 meetings set up with city council, September 17th and October 1st. And we'll take those budgets, suggestions and the layout to council and they will then select what our budget's gonna be. The reason it's a little bit more of a, I don't know, that we're pushing so hard right now is, we're hoping to take our project to the project review committee, the state agency on October 21st, 2024, and get approved for progressive design builds. So that's the big picture of what our timeline is looking like right now. Right now, what we're pushing really hard at the library is our surveys. So we have Kim, I worked with Kim and the Community Engagement Commission, Mark, also to create a survey. It's a 12-question survey. 10 of the questions are multiple choice type questions, choose from the following 5, and then 2 of the questions are open-ended questions where patrons can just put all of their thoughts and feelings on what they'd like to see in the new library. We are taking these, so Robin from the Community Engagement Commission is taking these surveys to a lot of the community volunteer groups around town. So she's gone to the Rotary meeting, she's going to the Lions Club meeting, she's going to Kiwanis, Friends of the Library, obviously. They're also doing it at the farmers market. So they're really pushing people to fill out the survey. We have the survey available digitally, and then we also have a paper copy of the survey for those who prefer to do something on paper. We're trying to make it accessible to everyone. The other thing we're doing at the library and at the farmers market is we're having a question of the week. So we started this last week. Last week our question was, in the new library, do you want more books, same amount of books, or do you want less books than we have currently with space for other amenities? So that's what our question was last week, trying to get a gauge on what our collection should look like in the new library. This week, our question involves the children's area. So it's a would you rather question. In the new library, would you rather have a permanent play structure, or would you rather have a flexible play space where we can do a myriad of things, like a little kitchen, a grocery store, kind of imaginative play building, like Legos, magnets, that sort of thing. So we're trying to get community input on areas of the library that we think people will, want to provide a lot of input, but it's a very low barrier. They're just putting buttons in a jar and voting. So it's really easy. You don't have to scan a barcode. You don't have to do a survey. It's just like, you're checking out your books, put a dot in the jar of what you want. Same with the farmers market.
Asking these questions at the library.
Yes, so we're doing this at the library at the front desk, and then we also have them at the farmers market. So at the farmers market, they're doing a magnet board question, and then the people can put a magnet on which of the would you rathers to get input. We probably got about 60 to 75 answers at the farmers market, which was really good. And then last week at the library, we got about 75 answers also. So we're just trying to get input in a lot of different ways, from those that are at the library, those that are at farmers market, and then the survey is something, that people can answer who are at the library, but also you don't have to go to the library. You can just, it's on social media, they can just scan it and take the survey as well. We're also planning to do an open house on September 5th at the library. It's a Thursday night from 5 to 7:30. Our architectural firm will be there. And they'll have some visuals that people can look at and provide feedback on as far as layout.
Is a formal presentation planned for that house?
I think it's more of an open house where people can come and go. Especially also because it's like wide, 5 to 7:30. I don't think it'll be a formal presentation, just open house. So that's what we're looking at. When me and Mark talked yesterday, he looked up on Density, and so far we have had 135 responses to the survey, which in 1 week, I think is really good for 1 week. And I do think we have a handful of paper logs that we haven't yet. So we might be closer to 140, 145. I think we're doing really good as far as getting feedback so far. The last thing I'll say is we have at the library a easel where we have, where people can just write feedback about the library. So last week our question was, what would make the library better? And people have markers and they can just write something on the board. And then this week our question is, why are you visiting the library today? To kind of gauge what people are coming in and using the library. You know, so we can see these many people were here for story time, these many people were here to study. Obviously not everyone answers the question, but just, that's something that you can, you know, incorporate into the new library as well. It's just, what are people using the library? Kim, what am I forgetting? Okay. It's one of those things where you're like, I've talked about this a lot, and it's like, what have I said to who?
Yeah.
What am I forgetting?
Yeah.
Because I think when I did it at council, I didn't mention the open house. I was so focused on telling them about the survey, I didn't say anything about the open house. But as you can see here on the screen, here's the QR code. I'm planning on posting the link to the survey once I upload this onto YouTube also, so if people in the community are watching back, they can just click the link and answer the survey as well. I hope you all have answered the survey. If you haven't, go do it.
Jandy, I just tried scanning that code off of my monitor and it took me somewhere totally different that wanted me to like enter a credit card for payment.
Oh, weird. Okay. Well, I will say there was a mishap with the QR code. And so now I'm wondering if the QR code that's in here is the one that was broken. Because I know the one I have at the library and everything is the one that actually works. So yes, most definitely, if you're watching the video, use my link that I'm gonna post.
Yeah, I went to the Facebook page for the library and I was like, I bet that there's a link there. And it took me to the real survey, not wherever this QR code.
I'm trying to remember what day it was last week. I think it might have been Wednesday, so that would have been the day after I gave the city council presentation. That David messaged me and was like, for whatever reason, the QR code is no longer working. Here's the new one. And so then I had to create, you know, stuff in my flyers, email out to everyone that already emailed, and then reprint everything. Yeah, so.
But Danny, I have a question. How are we getting the information out about the open house so that we make sure that people know and show up?
So, we finalized the time and everything today at our meeting that we had. So my plan is to share it out on social media, create a flyer, that can be, you know, handed out to people, at the farmer's market. We have this purple and gold flyer, adding an additional one that talks about the open house and just trying to get the word out as best we can. I know Robin has been mentioning, because she went to Road Debris, I want to say yesterday, and did her presentation and was like, having an open house, it's on this day. We didn't know the time yet. I had told her, I think it's like 5 to 7 or 6 to 8. So trying to let those community volunteer groups know as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Jandy?
Mark, do you have anything that you would add that I forgot? Sorry to put you on the spot. I'm just like,
No.
did I forget anything?
No, you covered everything. I'll mention that the Community Engagement Commission is going to send out a card to every household in the city, reminding them of the upcoming. On that invitation, we're also going to include a QR code to the survey. So you'll have saturation of.
Postcards, thank you, really. That was great.
Now, that will be post open house, so it'll be too late to get people notified about the open house. But it may prompt some additional late survey responses that we otherwise wouldn't have access to that people know about. So we'll see what the bump in the survey number looks like after that.
So I guess just making sure with David that the survey is still open. And, because in my mind, it was gonna close August 31st.
And this will go out in the next
Okay,
week.
yeah.
So they'll have at least a week or so to respond to that if they choose to do that.
Okay. Great. Well, that's nice to kind of a paper trail as far as postcard. So that's great.
All right, so does that take us up through the business?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But we were gonna talk about a September update.
Oh, yes, we do need to talk about our September council presentation, but let's do that after we do the library things. Thank you. Don't let me forget that.
Okay, so we are now on to, the action item, which is the approval of the library things waiver. Everyone had a chance to review that, but we had to make one change. And Jen, you'll probably bring that up and point it out before we vote on approving it.
Okay, yes, so down here on the bottom of page 1, in red, you'll see it says Spokane County Library District, and I subbed it in for the library.
So I do have a question because it seems like we have 2 waivers here. And has Sean reviewed this?
Yes, so I sent it to Sean last week and he reviewed it and was fine with language. I think this second one is more focused on liability, on like if you hurt yourself, that sort of thing. And this top one is more focused on the guidelines and agreeing to use it and, bring it back and all that kind of thing.
But they have also a waiver of, I won't sue you for damages, death, personal injury, property. So are we having them sign both? And then which one governs? Like, there's 2 agreements here, but there shouldn't be. It should be one.
Okay,
I'm surprised Sean didn't bring that up, or maybe he didn't understand how it was going to be used.
So, Sean, can you clarify? You're talking
Yeah,
about
so
the responsibility and acknowledgement of waiver claims.
yeah, so there's like in that bottom half of the first page, there's the Library of Things lending agreement, and it says in consideration of being permitted to borrow the thing, I waive blah, blah, blah from any and all claims, actions, demands for death, personal injury, property damage, liabilities, all of that. It's a waiver to the library of, I'm not gonna sue you if I get hurt or die by using this thing. Then the second page is again a waiver of claims and responsibility acknowledgement. But the first part of that first page is I agree to abide by the lending guidelines. So it's already a responsibility acknowledgement. So
it's kind of like
I'm
we're
not,
doing anything twice.
it's duplicated.
Okay.
Yeah, we only need one of them.
Mhm.
So we probably should send this back
To Sean
to Sean
and get his.
for a review. Would that be your suggestion, Shauna?
That's my suggestion, and I'm happy to
Or maybe
discuss with him if he wants, but this is like, I don't know that they're necessarily in conflict with each other, but you don't want 2 agreements that are saying the same thing, but differently, because then which one governs if there is ever an issue?
Correct, I agree with that, yeah.
Okay,
And
So-
I would say just that first page probably covers us for everything. So why would we need a whole page of the other? Because it has the guidelines, the liability, the care and use, and then it's just a quick, I agree to go by those guidelines and I'm gonna waive, the library's liability for. I don't know that we need that second page.
Yeah, I have, it's a request. Could you kind of review this policy? 'Cause it appears to me, and I don't know, I was looking at it, and it's even beforehand, but it appears to me that there are a few things though in the second agreement that they would sign that probably should be, that are a little bit different, that either should or shouldn't be included at all in the top agreement. I don't know, but it'd be nice if you could weed that out.
but I get what you're saying, where it feels like we have 2 and we just need 1.
Right. Would you be willing to do that, Shauna?
Yeah, I can do it, but This is,
But-
this is like a waive, like a waiver of like a city,
Yeah, it's like
an
anything.
indemnification of the city, so I can make
Right.
some recommendations, but like the city attorney is.
Yeah, and at the end of
Right,
the day,
no, I
it's
get it.
council, obviously, not.
Or do we wanna just send it to Sean and let him, just tell him our concerns and let him kind of.
I think, my question, I would, my thought would be, I'll send this to Sean, have a conversation with him about what our concerns are and see what his recommendation is. Do we
Okay.
just stick with the first one? Do we take a couple stuff, if there's, a few things in the second one, maybe get rid of everything else and add those second things to the first one? Because I get what Sean is saying, where we should just have one.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think the second one was meant, it seems to be more about the CIN. Anyway, doesn't make any difference. Well, we will table any action on this until we get a
Second.
new recommendation from, after having been reviewed by Sean. We all okay with that? Yeah. Okay, Teresa, okay with that?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Sean already agrees with that. All right, so we will table we'll table action on the library things waiver for further review. Okay, any other comments on that?
No, none for me.
Okay. All right. Do we have anything else we need to discuss? Our next meeting would be for September, I think it's 11th, isn't it?
We need to talk about September.
Yes, so
Okay,
I
hang
kind
on. September update, wasn't on my,
I forgot to put that on the agenda. I kind of want to get you guys' thoughts and feedback on this. So we need to do our third quarter update to the council. Generally in the past, part of this update has been our summer reading. This is how things went at the library during the summer. So kind of what I'm weighing with is there's 2 council meetings in September. We have September 3rd and September 17th. Summer reading ends August 31st. So I won't have all of my numbers yet by September 3rd to give a council update. The 17th is our big, huge thing on the budgets, deciding what the budget is gonna be for the library project. So I'm trying to decide, do we still just give our regular board update and then go into everything with the library? Or is that gonna be too much library and we should push it to October? Do you get what I'm saying? I just wanted people's opinions on it.
yeah, well, I hear what you're saying. I'll give you my opinion, and now it's a little bit of work. But my opinion is, anything that we can do positive about the library and put that in people's minds going into any kind of presentation, I'm all.
Okay,
That would be my opinion. So the 17th would be, I think, okay.
what do you think, Kim?
I was gonna ask Mark.
Mark, do you have an opinion?
Given the timeline of the programming phase,
Mhm.
I agree with Brad, just from a timing perspective. You want to continue to keep this at the forefront of the public's mind, especially in light of very near after that, you're going to close out the programming phase.
Okay, so you think the 17th is good?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that would be my plan, is that we do our quarterly report September 17th, and then we'll do our budget presentation and everything after that in the meeting. Who would like to be my partner for giving the presentation update?
Okay, so, we won't have a meeting prior to that. Oh, yeah, we will. So we'll be able to review it, at our
Yes.
meeting, good, yes.
So my thought would be to have the presentation ready to go on the 11th for us to go through at the meeting, and then we present it.
I'm available. Yeah, I'm also available on the 17th. I may have to be remote for the meeting on the 11th because I have to be in Seattle on the 10th. And it depends on if I'm coming back that afternoon or so I'll either be remote on the 11th. So if that is a factor, then but I think Kim, you said you're available too on the 17th. So you have your pick.
It's presentation to the council about the project, so I'll be there anyway.
There, you've got a couple helpers.
Yeah, great, great.
Just have to let them know when you're ready to go and want to talk about what we need to do. So let's talk about that just briefly then. What would be in the besides summer, your summer reading and summer programs, like I'm sure Touch a Truck could be used as a positive thing. Reading, thing could be a positive. Anything about the library we do is positive because you just look at all the feedback we've gotten in such a short period of time that the survey's been out there. So people love the library, they love what it offers to our community. So we just, whatever you do, which you always do, will highlight the things that the library's done during the summer. Is that the kind of the main focus of our fall review?
I would say our main focus is summer reading and then also awareness of what we have going into the fall. Is probably what our big things would be.
Okay.
The survey will have been closed as of September 1st or August 31st, right?
Yes. So I'm thinking the survey stuff will be involved as we're giving the budget presentation.
Okay.
These are things that we think we need in the new library, and this is what our patrons and our public is saying they want in the new library. So I don't think that would be part of our quarterly update. It'd be over in this, on this side of it.
Make a suggestion. You may not want to talk about what they want, but I would say that it'd be very important to say how many people participate. And that might be in our September report.
Yes.
You don't have to go.
Yeah.
What they wanted and all that kind of stuff would be in the actual report.
Yes.
To the board about the budget and, the choices for what we want.
Mhm.
But I think it's always good to let the council know how many people
Participated in the survey.
participated in the survey.
Yeah.
Are interested in what.
Yeah, I would mention that we did the survey.
Yeah.
And that, details will be following and this many people participated. Like, just let them know that, a big community push was done for communication and outreach, but the details will be in the other.
Yes, I think that's really good. It was good timing being August, because August is one of our busiest months of the whole year. So
Yeah.
we would have not wanted to do this survey in December.
Jandy, thank you for your report and all the information today. You've been busy, for sure. And Kim,
Yeah.
thank you, being involved and being so busy with that. And do we have any other comments? Our next, I believe, was I right, August, or September 11th, is that correct?
Yes.
What is the process? I think it's just starts with you and the mayor on replacing board members.
We will have to discuss that. I mean, usually, Jandy gets together with the mayor and they set up a time for doing that, but we'll also need to have a board member sit with Jandy and the mayor when it comes to reviewing, but there has to be a process, time leg there for people to be able to put their name into, to hopefully we get a few willing to sit on the board and replace
Yeah, I need to get with the mayor on it. I would say I'm hoping to post the opening in September after school starts. Because I think if I were to post it today, everyone's just worried about getting their kids back to school and getting their August, getting their summer vacation in. I think we'll get better responses if we post it in September after school starts. So that's
Great.
my thought, but I haven't brought it up to the mayor yet.
So that's kind of the process, so it'll be a little while before we have another board member online. So. Any other questions, comments? Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second,
Okay, all in favor, aye?
aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thanks everyone for being here.
Thank
and-
you, everybody.
Thank you.